Welcome out to It's All Been Done Radio Hour number 53. Meet the cast, Chase McCants. Before I sit down and talk to Chase, though, I'd like to thank Mad Lab Theater, our host site. We have a show coming up on Saturday, January 14th. That second Saturday in January at 5:30 p.m. A brand new time. It's also a longer show. We're now 80 minutes long. Tickets still available at madlab.net/tickets. So come out and see our latest live show. I'd also like to thank IABD Presents, our parent website, iabdpresents.com. It's an entertainment network based in Columbus, Ohio, with podcasts, written work, videos, and more. This week I want to highlight Dirty Story Night, which is kind of our after party for It's All Been Done Radio Hour. It's really filthy stories about famous people, characters, just familiar situations. So check out Dirty Story Night on iTunes. You can also rate and review Dirty Story Night and this podcast. That would help us out a lot, so please do that. If you want to support us, we also have a shop page at iabdpresents.com with Radio Hour t-shirts and some other cool things. So, that out of the way, please enjoy Meet the Cast, Chase McCants. Welcome out to another episode of Meet the Cast. This week, we have Chase McCants.
Hi.
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 Did you know you were coming on?
Yes. No. Yes. Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, I did. And I'm super excited.
Are you?
I'm super excited, yeah.
But you're a very private person. I figured you wouldn't want people to have insight into you.
That's not true at all.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Mr. Chase McCants.
I don't know. Not the... I'm pretty open, right? Don't you think?
I feel like you're open, but then you're also antisocial and go and hide.
That's true.
And you don't like it if the group gets too big or...
Yeah, that's terrifying to me.
But you've done okay with this cast. It's not too big for you.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is really, really cool here. I know the first day that I showed up, I thought, people... I don't know. I was terrified because, when you're an actor... I don't know. At least for me, I'm constantly judging how I'm doing, and I know that you send out auditions to people, and I'm like, holy crap! These guys are going to be amazing performers, and they are. But I think
except for that one.
Yeah, that we don't talk about.
Yeah, that one.
But other than that one, though, it makes you want. Obviously, I have to be a better actor. So working with people like Shane and Sam and just everyone. So
let's back up a bit. Tell the listeners how you first became interested in performing.
In general?
Yes.
Oh, cool. So, So when I was in the 6th grade, there was this theater company in Detroit where I'm from called the Mosaic Youth Theater of Detroit. And I remember being a kid and seeing commercials of their show that was coming up. And so it just so happened that same year, my school went to go see them perform at this giant theater in Detroit called Music Hall. And I remember going to see them and just thinking, like, I want to be like those kids up there. They put on this incredible performance. So, I think I was too young at the time, if my memory serves me correctly. So I couldn't audition then, nor would I want to, because I wasn't really great at acting at that point. But by the time I got to high school, I had done a bit more theater through my school, and my school went to go see them perform at that same theater. And they were doing a show called Crossing 8 Mile. And if you, of course, know Detroit is separated from its suburbs by 8 Mile. At any rate, went to see him there, and I was like, I got to audition for this theater company. And so the next year I went and auditioned for their singing and their choir and their acting company, and I got both of them. But you can only do one, and so I picked acting because that was what I wanted to take part in. And from there, it's a professional theater company, even though it's for kids. And I think we practice 3 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then for 4.5 hours on Sundays.
Jeez.
And this was every week. And then I got to perform in that same theater that I saw them in back when I was 6th grade. I got to do that 3 times. I was in the company for 3 years, and then I got to their national touring company, which means we took the show from the year before and went on tour throughout the United States, and then I did so well that I made it to their next stage company, which meant I got paid to act, which was super awesome. Yeah, man. It was a huge part of my life, and I mean, probably how I learned to be disciplined, probably got me out of Detroit as well. I wasn't really focused when I was in high school before that, and to be in Mosaic, you have to have good grades.
So then when you finished up the Mosaic run, when you finished high school, did you didn't immediately go into performing, or did you do additional community theater stuff?
I went straight to college after that. So I majored in journalism because I wanted to be a journalist.
Right.
But I minored in theater because I wanted to do I wanted to be an arts reporter and cover mostly theater. So I thought that would be a cool combination.
Yeah.
Started with OSU Theater. I got the lay of the land for the first, second quarter, and the third quarter I auditioned for a show, and I got it. Nice. Wasn't the best experience in the world. We had a director who was from, I think he was from Iran or Iraq, and he liked to tell us how to read our lines, and I think I was a little bit too pretentious back then. My old director says, I'm never going to tell you how to read your lines. That's up to you to interpret as an artist.
Sure.
And so I took, 18 or 19-year-old Chase took that as offensive, and, him saying, read it like this. And I'm like, you're not the actor. I'm the actor. And so he cut my script down to like a single monologue. And so, but the next few years I did more theater at OSU, and that was a lot of fun.
And then after college, you worked in journalism.
Well, while I was in college, I didn't do it afterwards. So while I was in college, I interned at a lot of newspapers. I did the South Bend Tribune my freshman year, the Akron Beacon Journal my sophomore year, and then the Star Tribune in Minneapolis. In Minneapolis, they knew that I wanted to write mostly in theater, so they just stuck me there.
Nice.
And it was really fun. It was a lot of fun. I struggled a little bit. But ultimately, it was an incredible experience.
Were you ever tempted to go into acting for a living after seeing that?
God, yeah.
Yeah?
Like, absolutely. But then we have that little thing called music that I got into as well. And that was the ultimate thing that made me drop journalism and say, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
So now we're finishing your college. Is that when you got into music hardcore? Or still during college? So
this was all during college. It was kind of 3 streams of stuff. College was just such a huge change in my life, and I think everyone can say that about their college experience. But in my freshman year, I met my good friend Anthony, who introduced me to rock music. Now, he didn't introduce me to rock. My mom did that. But more specifically, kind of the emo, punk rock, indie scene of the late 90s, early 2000s. And I just fell in love with it. And, he and I would go to shows. I mean, I remember we lined up for, my first legit rock show at Newport Music Hall here in Columbus. We lined up and waited in line for 8 hours so that we could get a good spot, and we did that continuously until one summer we just said, we should just start a band, and it was a joke. We were completely joking about starting a band, but then all of a sudden within a few months we had actual musicians and we were writing songs. And, after... Is
that My Beloved Tragedy?
That's My Beloved Tragedy, yeah. In fact, I'll admit this now, but I wouldn't back then. Before we did this, we were... There was an emo band name generator. And so when we typed Anthony's name in, it came up with Dying in September. But we thought, okay, that's too close to the early November, which is a legit band. So we typed my name in, and it came up with My Beloved Tragedy. and so years later, when we actually, or I think it was a year or two later, when we actually created the band, I was like, I'm gonna do lead singing. You're gonna play guitar. We'll call it My Beloved Tragedy. Yeah. Completely joking. And then, of course, like I said, we
just never thought of a better name.
Yeah, no, we legitimately never
did. Title that just stuck.
We never really did, and we.
Oh no, I understand that. Universe Journey, working title that stuck.
And so we made the band, and we practice. I mean, we practice a lot. We actually, funny story, we took on the rehearsal schedule of Mosaic. So we practice every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
And we played for a while, and we added more members, and we did our first big show, and we got like 70 of our friends to come out to watch us play for 30 minutes. My grandmother came down from Detroit down here to see me play, which was really cool. And
check out YouTube, My Beloved Tragedy. I highly recommend the music video you made, Ohio Sky.
Christ. Actually, again, funny story.
Yeah.
The guy that directed that music video was one of my super good friends in college in the theater department. He directed the music video, and his buddy was a videographer, filmed it. It was pretty cool.
And you were acting in it, so you got to merge a couple of your worlds.
I did. I mean, that's what the whole thing is.
Yeah.
It's like when we first started playing music, the band hated me because they didn't hate me, but they hated my performance because I didn't know what to do. All the bands that we listened to, me and Anthony listened to, the lead singer was also a guitarist or a bassist.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there with nothing in my hands, standing at a mic, and I'm like, what do I do? And what started to make sense was, songs are nothing but short stories. So act them out. And that's where the whole stage persona comes in. I'm acting whatever song I'm singing. So when folks are shocked that I'm, usually I have really bad stage fright. And the reason why I'm able to perform on stage is because I'm not me. Kind of like I said with those characters that I was playing, I'm not playing me. And I partially can't see the crowd, But if you have me...
And half the time we give you alcohol, right?
That's true. That's true. Usually I'm not sober when we're doing it.
And My Beloved Tragedy lasted till 2010?
2013.
2013.
So we were...
longer than I thought.
We started in I always say we formed fully when we added our drummer, and he was the last piece of it, December of 05.
05.
And
so that was almost a decade.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And somewhere along the way, before you stopped being in My Beloved Tragedy, you got a job at a little startup company in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. My Beloved Tragedy, we were recording a song with one of my good friends. His name is Chip Burke.
Yes.
Chip Burke was in a band called The Slang, and The Slang had opened for my band a few times. And so Chip had this awesome, beautiful studio in his basement, like just absolutely beautiful. And he was recording the new version of Ohio Sky that was far more rock infused. So he was recording us, and at some point, like, I think I was starting to complain about my wisdom teeth growing in. And he said, well, why don't you get those out? And I just said, I don't have insurance, so I can't afford it. And he just said, everybody at my job has insurance. And I said, well, sign me up, And then that Monday comes, and I'm at work, and I get I think an email or a text from Chip, and he says, send me your resume. And I sent it to him, and I got an interview. I got the job, and then of course went part-time on the job and went working for Dell, and then you started.
Yes.
And I don't know, man. I just I wanted you to feel welcome. I thought it sucked that I wasn't there to ever say hi to you because I worked evenings. So I think I just chatted you one day and said, hey, dude, welcome to the team.
Yep.
And I think you and I talked like that for a while, and then we finally met.
And then we worked some evenings together, and then we sat next to each other practically.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we became, the rest of the story. No, they don't know the rest of the story. But yeah, this was 2012 when I started. And so Chase is one of the people that I knew prior to the radio hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were still performing, clearly.
Yeah.
You were in Imagine Productions and Dream Girls.
Yeah.
You played the Eddie Murphy character, for those who've seen the movie.
I did, yeah.
Which was great. But then you also formed a band, So Long Stargazer. Yes. Let's talk just briefly about So Long Stargazer. We'll circle back to them later as well.
No, that's cool.
So how did that come about?
So, My Beloved Tragedy, I always say life got in the way.
Yeah.
We all grew up.
That's just your beloved tragedy.
It is. It is. man, it's it's still kind of heartbreaking to think about it, but basically what happened was a lot of people had other priorities, and I don't say that in a bad way.
Sure.
I've always told my bandmates, I cannot pay your bills, and this band cannot pay your bills. So what is important to you? Prioritize what you need to prioritize. Mm-hmm. And it just got to a point where other things were the priority. And so we played a show at Newport, and that was kind of our last show for a while. Mm-hmm. We were gonna get together at the top of 2014 again, but our drummer had a baby, and it was
stupid babies. They ruin everything.
They do ruin everything. No, so it was a little bit more work than he thought would happen.
Yeah.
And so it was, so he asked if we could put back Reforming until the spring. And for me, I mean, so it was, when you've given up your life, I guess, this plan with journalism for music, and you see that dream slowly die, it was really, really tough. And during that summer, I had said goodbye to all of those dreams. I mean, literally, I wanted to, go out with my best buds, with Anthony, with Tommy, with Austin and David at the time. I wanted to go on tour with those guys. And to see that dream just fade away, it was tough, And so when there was this almost promise for it to come back and then it didn't, I was just, instead of being hurt, I think I just said, screw it, I'm gonna make music. And so the original plan was just to play some open mic nights. One of our former drummers, we've had 3 drummers in our lifetime, and so one of the guys, he had always said, if the band doesn't work out, just go do some open mic nights. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do open mic nights, why not? And then Kristen, who's my keyboardist now, she played with My Beloved Tragedy for 2 shows as a full member. She had guest spot before, but she had played.
She was in the show I saw.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she was going to be joining the band too, and I said, well, I can play keyboards a little bit, but she's way better. Mm-hmm. So if we're going to do open mic nights, why not just do dual vocals there? So I called her and said, hey, would you be down to do some open mic nights? And she was like, yes, let's do it. So she came over to my house, and we played through the song. It was Falling Slowly from Once. Mm-hmm. So we played through that, and that was going to be our song. And then we decided, hey, we should also do this other song. I wrote a song for my buddy's wedding. Kristen composed the music. I wrote the lyrics. Tommy added guitars, and I had the same guy that told me to go and do open mic nights. He provided some drums, and so she and I were like, well, let's do that one. I was like, well, if we're going to do that song, we got to get Tommy in on it because Tommy did guitars. And so we got Tommy and we started to rehearse at his house. And so we went over those songs. And then we just started writing more and more and more and more until we kind of had something of a band. And what's funny is So Long Stargazer's first show was a show for MBT. It was for My Beloved Tragedy, and I had to tell them MBT isn't together anymore. But I've got this new group. Yeah, did not tell Kristen or Tommy that I was accepting the show, no. and so I went back to them later on and said, "Hey guys, we have a show. We've got to find a drummer, a bassist, and another guitarist. Oh man, in 2 months, and we have to come up with 3 more songs so we can fill 30 minutes. Oh man. No, it was awesome. It was awesome because it was just work as quickly as possible to get this together, and the show was awesome. Great. And it was just nice to be on stage again.
And now you've continued to play. You're still active with So Long Stargazer.
Oh,
you've released an album called Look Up. Go to sollongstargazer.com.
Absolutely.
Or type it in the Googles. And you'll be able to see. And you can buy their album. You can buy a t-shirt. All kinds of really cool stuff with So Long Stargazer.
Support local music.
So somewhere along the way, after So Long Stargazer had started, but clearly before it, broke up, because it hasn't broken up.
Oh, God.
No.
I would kill them.
No, I'm not saying it did. But somewhere along that way, you just were like, I'm not busy enough. Let me sign up for some other program. So how did you decide to do It's All Within Radio Hour when you already had this awesome band that you were...
Yeah, honestly, I wanted to keep acting. You know, I did Dream Girls earlier that year.
Right.
And that was an interesting experience.
Uh-huh.
But then you said you had this radio show that you wanted to do, and you know, I like anything that I don't have to memorize. And you know, honestly, I don't know what I thought about it. I didn't know if you were super serious about it when you asked, but I'll be very honest. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll help out. You know, I didn't know where it was going.
Sure. I admit I didn't know. I mean, I knew what I'd like it to do, but I purposely kept expectations low.
Yeah, as you tend to do.
I kind of need to.
I know.
Get too disappointed if I don't. So what was the thing that pushed you over the top that made you decide to audition?
I mean, dude, I love you.
I love you too.
And
you're my work spouse.
Exactly. And so I think originally I was just gonna do it to help you out and see if I could help you.
Sure.
You know,
that's completely
it's
fair.
one person that you don't have to do an audition for.
And I appreciate that.
But I mean, when we got the group of people together. I think when we did that first table reading, I was just like, oh shit, he's like, I don't know what your intentions were, but you had some super talented people here. I don't know if I expected to show up and just be like, oh, okay, I'm going to be the best person here. That was absolutely not the case. I remember hearing like certain people read and I'm like, he got professional actors. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Like, I heard Keith's voice and I was just like, oh my God, I'm just going to look stupid compared to these guys. But like I said, I mean, that made, you know, I think
most of them see you in that same way too.
No, absolutely not.
Oh.
No, they are just, I mean, even like Joe and all his voices, Dallas. So at any rate, I you know, as soon as I heard them, I knew that you would be fine. And luckily, the show was so much fun, and working with them was so much fun that I didn't want to exit out at all.
I appreciate that.
And it got to a point where, you know, I was just looking forward to it every single month, whether it was just rehearsing here or going to not Mad Lab yet. We were at Pack Rat back then, and so it was just fun, you know. Yeah. And what I loved about this was that you gave us these cool characters that we could just do so much with. Things that you didn't even expect when you wrote some of them.
Very true.
And we got to go on stage with our scripts and just read. And I've been to stage readings. They're really, really awesome. But I think because we have such a colorful cast and we have so many unique characters, it's just... Even as a person participating, if I'm not in a scene, I'm just glued to what's going on. And it's, I love it, man. I absolutely enjoy it.
Glad.
Yeah, man.
Or now you want to be the director, which is awesome.
It's terrifying.
Why did you decide you wanted to step up and be the director?
So,
and insinuate yourself more into the show?
Because I'm an idiot. And no. I mean, so there were two big aspects to our show, right? So you've got the radio show side of it, where you can download a podcast and just listen to these stories as they evolve, right? But we also have a stage show.
Yes.
And, you know, something changed when we moved from the comic book shop to a legitimate theater. You know, and all I could do was just envision, you know, how can we stage this to be more of a...
What we could be.
Right, what a live show could be. The terrifying part is that I've just never directed before. You know, I've always been the actor behind it.
Sure.
And so I wanted to do more. I want this to be just as successful because, of course, if more people show up for the live show, that means that we can do more as a company, you know? You know, maybe we can do longer shows. Maybe we can buy better.
Doing here.
Right.
Yeah,
we're going to 80 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe we can buy better equipment, you know, and bring an even better, a bigger quality to our podcast. So I think one serves the other.
Absolutely.
And what I think is kind of cool about it is that it's obviously not just me, and I was absolutely not the first to try to assist with the show. You know, you've got Amanda. Coming in, does a ton of stuff.
Sam does a ton.
Shane
does a ton. Nick does a ton.
So many people who who are so involved, and that is what's exciting. That's what's so exciting, because actors, we're flighty people. We just are, right?
Yep.
And to see so many people invested into a project that you have something good, and that you have an awesome group of people when they're willing to devote so much time to something that they're not reimbursed for, because it's the experience itself that's rewarding to them.
Back to you getting involved in the show. So obviously I cast you in the first show.
Sucker.
And you played, the first role I think you got was Lieutenant Grappa.
Oh, yeah.
Which was one you had auditioned for, I believe.
I think so.
We're going to stick some of your auditions right here.
Please don't.
No, I'm doing it.
Please don't.
Here we go.
I am Lieutenant Commander M from the planet... And I am the science officer. And a fun fact about me is that I'm not evil. No, the cops can't help. Only you can, Daniel Kravitz. Only you can save us all. I've come to drink your blood and bathe in your urine and then enslave this town to be my new kingdom on Earth. This is Chase auditioning for the part of Sage. Oh my God, since there's not all that many lines for me in the script, what I'm just going to do is read some Facebook updates and just give you my opinion on them, since that's what I would be doing at work anyway. So Bruce said, just throwing this out there, Donald and I love our Blue Apron deliveries. And you know what? That just sounds kind of stupid because, I hate cooking because, it just gets my nails all messed up and I just got them done. And, Granny doesn't even pay me enough to get them done like every week. So screw aprons. Let's see. Who else? Oh, look, Eric Rogers says, great time last night in the infamous Cinnamon Lake hog roast. Oh my God. That's so fatty. Lately I've been trying this vegetarian diet where you can still eat like chicken and fish because those aren't really animals. And let me tell you, you feel so much better, but hog, ew, 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 ew. Okay.
No.
Those were great auditions, weren't they?
No, they weren't.
Oh, they were wonderful. So you were playing the security chief of the Thrifty.
Yes.
And what did you think about that character going in? Because clearly we've discovered a number of things about you as time has gone on.
Honestly, I didn't know. I imagined how, the character looked, probably. But I don't know. I had no idea where it was going. I just knew that I was the grunt, and I was going to play it. And I think if you listen to the earlier episodes, I play it pretty straight, right? Yeah. And then as it evolved, and, who got...
You added personality to those single syllables.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like it was because everyone else was that those first episodes. I love listening to them because we're all just kind of cautiously reading our lines, and then after a while, it was just like, all right, let's add some flair to it. So instead of saying everything very flatly, it's just I would emphasize certain words,
right?
And so the character grew. It's still but like
Lieutenant Who and Lieutenant Tokolati were characters at the beginning that were really one-note characters. Yeah. And they both developed based on performance. We've written to your performance and to Katie's performance.
Yeah.
And now it feels like a true ensemble comedy, like The Office, where there's all these different personalities rather than just Kake and everybody else. Which is where it started.
And I love playing Who because it's like Who is constantly, I think, vocally rolling his or her eyes, its eyes, right? And that's so me, just like being like, why do I have to deal with this?
You also were going to play the one episode part in The Scary Dead of Coco that you did not audition for.
I did not audition.
Because that was supposed to be a woman.
That was.
And we did not get a sassy black lady to audition, which much to my eternal disappointment, we still don't have a sassy black lady in the cast. Mm-hmm. I mean, you pretty much are. But whenever I complain that we don't have a sassy black lady in the cast, everybody says, but you have Chase. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you didn't want to play that part when I got it to you.
No. As a black guy, you got to be cautious about stereotypical roles. But Coco is a man.
Coco is a man.
So no, I mean,
it's a transgender character.
It was. Well, see, I took it as a drag queen.
Could be that too.
We
haven't really defined, and I don't think we need to define. Nah. Coco is Coco.
Coco is Coco. Yeah. But I mean, it's fun because like that character is. I mean, that's also probably a part of my personality.
But it wasn't written for you. It's not like we forced you. I mean, that was purely like, Chase, I have nobody that can play this role. I know you're not a woman, but just give me something for it.
Yeah.
And you gamely were like, okay. And like, it's just one part, one episode. I know it's a stereotype, but everybody in the sketch is a stereotype. Right?
And that's actually what sold me, because everyone in the sketch, and since then, has been a stereotype.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I think that's one thing that you do well, is that you don't write these one-dimensional characters, even when you try to.
The other major role you play, and you have been playing this role since episode 1, is James Packer.
Oh my God. Yeah. The reason I love working with Dallas is because his timing, his comedic timing, is just amazing. You know, when you do theater, you never want the momentum of the show to drop, right?
Yeah.
And so with playing this off of Dallas, it's like just throwing a ball back and forth, and no one can hold the ball for too long. And so I'll have to say a line, and then he says a line, and I say a line, and he says it. And it's so rapid and so fast paced, and it's so much fun because he comes up with just ridiculous stuff, and then I have to react to it. It's fantastic.
What we've discovered is they're very eccentric.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of weird things about them.
Right, and that's the cool part about the
You never know what you're going to discover about them next.
Dude, if there was ever a freedom with a role, it would be that one, because like I have done like I've done like I've spoken him just straight up, like, you know, we need to do this, blah blah blah, and then there are other times where I get to say, ooh, but we could do this too. You know, it's just this kind of outrageous eccentric characters, and it is so much fun.
Well, that was just a little commercial advertisement, 2 pages, I think.
Oh yeah.
And it was not intended to be an every episode thing, but that, more than almost anybody else in the cast, just those 2 characters resonated with everybody immediately.
It's so much fun.
And everybody wants more from them.
Oh, that's good.
And so at first we just did a couple very standalone commercials, and then we were like, oh no, we need to come up with a serial story arc for them because they're sticking around. Nice. And I'm not talented enough to write standalone commercials every month for months on end. I'm just not. It's not my style. And as soon as we got to Mad Lab, the Mad Lab people are like, oh, we want to be in your show. Can we be in the show? Oh. And so they did. They specifically asked me after the first live show. They said, is there any way you can kind of write for us too? Because we love what you're doing for Pack Rat Comics.
That's cool.
And I said, yes, that's already in the plans, but I write so far ahead, you got to give me a couple months to get to it. And rather than give them their own new characters, which I considered, I was like, let's just send Packer and Ratcliffe to Mad Lab Theater.
No, fair enough, man.
And I think they've really enjoyed that because we've been able to write in some of the real Mad Lab people.
Oh my God. And it's hilarious working with them too, because
with Nikki Smith and with Stephen Woosley. Woosley. Poor Stephen. We had not even met him when we started writing that.
Is that true?
Yes.
I thought you knew him.
No, I did not know him.
Oh my God.
I was looking at the people on the Mad Lab website, and he was directing the show they were doing right then.
Yeah.
And I misunderstood and thought he was the director of Mad Lab and said, okay, I love the name. I'm going to do something with the name. Yeah, and so then he's come to every live show since we've been at Mad Lab. Every single one of them. I mean, Woos is almost like an unofficial mascot of the show, I feel like. You know what I mean? And he finally did guest star with us on the October live show, which won't be on the podcast for a little bit. But we brought him in so that Packer and Ratcliffe could meet their arch nemesis.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
So, to bring it back around, So Long Stargazer, your band, has been our first band that guest starred on the show.
Yeah.
They played our anniversary show.
Yeah.
Covered all the theme songs.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Terrifying. It was
merging of the worlds.
Oh my God. It was just, I mean, it was cool because we got to, I knew from the start that we were going to just remix all of the songs. And it was, honestly, what I did was I just took I knew what songs we were doing because obviously it was the songs we were doing for the show. I took them back to the guys and I just kind of gave them ideas and they came up with the music. I think we started with Daniel Kravitz. I told Nick that it was based off of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes.
At least a little bit. And so he was like, oh, I know. And then he played the theme song for Buffy, and I was like, we're going to make it into a punk song.
Yes.
And we just did that.
Which was amazing. Everybody loved
It was so much fun.
Oh my
it
God.
was so much fun.
Yeah.
And so there was that one, and then Universe Journey. I think we so long Stargazer-ified it.
Sure.
That was our whole goal with that one. And then and then Amber and Stacy, the 4-Star Detectives, we wanted to just go even further with like the 90s like pop.
Yeah.
90s pop rock music, and we just made it really, really fun. So yeah.
Disappointed you didn't get to do Top Notch Tangler.
That would have been interesting. I don't know that I have any ideas for that one yet, but it was,
We'll have to have you back to do Top Notch Tangler.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, everybody loved having the band there.
That's cool, man.
So far, the podcast has only heard your Universe Journey. And then
it's up?
Yeah, that one will have been up before this goes live.
Oh,
it's not
okay.
up yet.
Okay.
It will be before this. And then we will also hopefully have released an episode of several of your performances, including Welcome to Our Show.
Cool. I really liked that one. That one was a lot of fun.
I did too. I enjoyed what you did with it. So you will have Porn Stars and Daniel Kravitz in 2017 to look forward to when we release those episodes. We so much appreciate you guys coming and doing that.
Dude, no problem. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I think it worked out really well, too.
Oh, it was great. It was perfect. Perfect. So, ending. Joe asked you to sing a song.
What is this song?
The Greedo. Joe said if you weren't familiar with that, just sing anything.
What should I sing?
What do you want to sing?
One song, glory. One song before I go, glory. One song to leave behind. Find one song, one last refrain, glory. From the soul of a young man who wasted opportunity. One song. Yeah, I don't remember all the words.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That's Roger. Sing once again with me a strange duet. My power over you grows stronger yet. And though you turn from me to glance behind, the phantom of the opera is there inside your mind.
Oh my goodness. I agree with Joe. I could just listen to you sing all night.
Oh, thank you.
I do.
That was my first musical when I was 1991 or 1992. I went to see it with my mom.
So good.
Thank you.
Now you have to ask the question of Wendy. Miss Wendy Parks next month.
Oh my God.
Any question you want.
What should I ask her?
Anything you want.
Okay, I've got my question.
Okay.
This is for Wendy, right?
Yes.
Wendy, I want to know, just from an emo kid sitting in his black hoodie, are you always that happy? And if so, can you tell me the secret to your happiness? Because it is absolutely infectious, and I wish that everyone could just be as happy as you seem. So if there's an ounce to that being true, I just want to know, what is the key, what is the secret that you have for being so positive all the time?
I will ask her that.
Thank you.
I can tell you I've known her for 27 years, and
has she ever been angry?
It's so rare that she displays an emotion other than happy.
Oh my God, I love it though.
Like ever since she was a little kid.
That's awesome.
That's what I've seen in school and stuff. And I did tons of plays and musicals with her growing up.
When she's like, I love when she's at practice. I don't know her that well.
Yeah.
But I love when she's at practice because her laugh is just
so
amazing.
Infectious.
And I'm just like, even on my worst days, if I could just see her bright face or hear her laugh, it would just be so much better. I love working with her. She's an awesome young lady.
Isn't she?
Oh, she is. Mr. Aaron is super, super lucky to be married to her.
Well, thank you for joining us, Chase.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I had to cut literally half of the stories you've heard.
What are we at, 100 or at?
We're closing in on an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. So.
And this probably won't be longer than 40 minutes because that's what I cut these down to.
That's fair. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining me and talking to us. Thank you for listening to It's All Been Done Radio Hour number 53, Meet the Cast with Chase McCants. Please check out our website, it'sallbeendoneradiohour.com, and follow us on social media at IABD Presents. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We also have a network website, IABDpresents.com, so check that out. If you shop on Amazon at all, we'd really appreciate it if you head onto the shop page at the network site. There's a link there you can bookmark, and that way every time you go to Amazon and buy something, it supports us. You can also get an Audible trial there, and that will give you a free audiobook of your choosing while you check on Amazon's audio service. Thank you very much. We'll catch you all next week.